Hi, my name is William Strickland, and this is my final presentation on end-of-life decisions. Why did I choose this module? Well, choosing this module was pretty simple for me. That picture right there is a picture of my grandmother, and she passed away earlier this summer on June 6th. I chose her because she is a great example of making end-of-life decisions while you are still alive and planning ahead. She's always been an example of planning ahead. She always had a plan while I was growing up. And when she died, it was a very easy process as far as how hard it could have been had she not planned ahead. I also chose this module because I wanted to be more informed and educated on what I needed to do personally to prepare myself for what, the eventual case of me dying, and to make it as easy as possible for those around me. And it affects everyone. So obviously everyone is going to die, and everyone is going to have a loved one or somebody there that it's going to affect. So this is going to affect everyone. Why is it important? Well, it's very important because you need to be ready. You need to have some sort of plan to make that process as easy as it can be, without all the hassles of making quick decisions under the stress and anxiety of burying a loved one. Individuals' wishes are met as best can be if you have a plan, if you are ready, if you've made those plans ahead of time. It's less burden on the surviving family members and loved ones, like I've said, and it's also, you need to be informed and educated as well. Who should participate in end-of-life decisions? Well, this is a pretty straightforward answer. You should. You should be the one participating and making those decisions as soon as possible. With advanced directives or living will, others can also participate. If you have a power of attorney for your health care, that makes it very simple for that person to know, or for the doctor to know, who is responsible should the case be where you cannot speak for yourself. It also needs to be very specific, and it needs to be readily available for those healthcare providers. Without advanced directives, you're going to have some kind of succession of responsibility, whether that be your child, or whether that be your spouse, or whether that be your parent. Some kind of succession or responsibility for you in the case of not being able to speak for yourself is going to happen. Substitute judgment, that person needs to be able to speak for you as far as what you would want and not what they would want. And then they're also going to have to make a range of decisions as far as do not hospitalize orders, feeding tubes, life-sustaining treatment, and also pain control. Organ donation. This is an end-of-life decision as well, because this is a decision to whether end your life, or at the end of life, whether you want to contribute your organs to try and help and save others. In the United States, 117,000 plus men, women, and children are on the waiting list as of last month. Over 33,000 transplants were performed in 2016, so that's obviously a big gap right there. And then 22 people die each day waiting for a transplant, because we don't have as many transplants in the works as we do people on the waiting list, so people are running out of time. Well, why is that? Why do we not have as many people donating or as many transplants as possible? I came up with an idea, and I found this interesting statistic that 95% of U.S. adults support organ donation, but only 54% are actually signed up as donors, and that came straight out of the Center of Disease Control and the U.S. Health Department. And this is also a few other reasons why I think that statistic is so eye-opening. there's a mistrust of the medical community. And this interesting quote from Brian Quick in Illinois: there are a lot of people who subscribe to the belief that if a doctor knows you're a registered donor, they will not do everything in their power to save your life. So if they know you can help other people save your life and you're not likely to survive, they won't do everything in their power to save your own life. Another reason is religion. A lot of religions, especially Catholicism, calls for maintaining body integrity, even though out of the Vatican they have approved organ donation. So that's an interesting reason as well. And then also, bottom line is, people are uncomfortable talking about death. People are uncomfortable talking about the future death, and making those real life urgent decisions. Funerals. This is another huge decision that you can make as easy as possible on your family. That statistic right there, the average cost of a funeral is over $8,000, and that's not pocket change to a lot of families. That's a whole bunch of money. Over the past decade, the median cost of an adult funeral has risen almost 30%, so it's getting even more and more expensive. And then pre-planning reduces stress and anxiety for your surviving family members, so make it as easy as possible as you can on behind. Suicide. This is one of the biggest decisions that you can make because you're ending your own life, or someone is ending their own life. And this last year, on average, there are 101 suicides per day. For every suicide death, there are an additional 25 attempts, and each year over 44,000 Americans die by suicide. And those are some staggering numbers. And so I wanted to dive into as a nation to prevent that. And the number one thing is be a friend. Be there for someone. Smile at them. Have an honest conversation about what's going on with them. You know, how you can help, or what they can do to help themselves. Encourage them to go seek treatment. We need to lose that taboo on going to a psychiatrist or psychologist and talking about our problems. And then also, do not belittle their problems, and don't try to debate the value of life with them. Try and get them to seek professional help. Abortion. This one caught me off guard when I first wrote my paper, because I didn't think about ending a potential life. But in 2013, there were over 600,000 legal abortions, and 91% of those abortions were performed before the 13-week period. And I also feel like we need to look at abortion not as a moralistic standpoint or a idealistic standpoint, but as a humanistic standpoint. We're humans, and we get put in some very, very tough situations. And this needs to be discussed as human beings, not as you're right, you're wrong, but a lot of empathy and a lot of compassion in this discussion. Alright, and some of my final thoughts on this presentation and on this topic really is planning ahead makes everything easier and less stressful on family members and loved ones. And then also, lose the taboo of discussing death. Talk about it, be prepared, make those hard decisions, and be more open-minded and empathetic of others that you leave behind. Thank you.